Now, Chinese Coast Guard ship blocked a Philippines patrol vessel steaming into a disputed shoal in the South China Sea, causing a frightening near collision in the latest act of Beijing's aggression in the strategic waterway.
A Chinese Coast Guard ship blocked a Philippine patrol vessel steaming into a disputed shoal in the South China Sea. The blocking caused a frightening near collision in the latest act of Beijing's aggression in the strategic waterway.
Coast Guard vessel, BRP Malapascua, MRRV 4403, conducting lawful routine maritime patrol within the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone. In accordance with international and Philippine national laws, we are proceeding according to our planned route. You are reminded that China is a party of United Nations Convention of the Law of the Sea, that the Yungin Shoal falls within the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone. Request to stay clear from our passage in accordance with the collision regulations. Over.
Notably, in a week-long sovereignty patrol in one of the world's most hotly contested sea channels, the high seas face-off between the larger Chinese ship and the Philippine Coast Guard's BRP was one of the few tense moments. The skipper of the BRP Malapascua Philippine Coast Guard Captain Rodel Hernandez led the patrol mission, which also involved another Coast Guard vessel, the BRP Malabrigo. And as the two patrol vessels approached the shallow waters of the shoal, the Chinese Coast Guard repeatedly warned the Filipinos by radio to immediately leave the area, which it claimed was under China indisputable sovereignty.
For the People's Republic of China, using a Chinese Coast Guard vessel wherein it should have a function on maritime safety, it is quite surprising that they are still disregarding the collision regulation, in which they are also a signatory state. It just goes to show that the Chinese have always been ignoring the international law.
To which the Filipina Coast Guard personnel radioed back to assert their sovereign rights in the area and warned the Chinese Coast Guard to steer clear of their way to avoid a collision. After repeated radio exchanges, the Chinese Coast Guard ship warned of an unspecified counteraction. And then, a Chinese Coast Guard ship with bow numbered 5201 later shadowed the Malapascua and the Malabrigo.
This is China Coast Guard Vessel 5201. This is a solemn statement. According to the Chinese laws and the international laws, China has indisputable sovereignty over islands in the South China Sea and their adjacent waters.
When the Malapascua maneuvered toward the mouth of the shoal, the much bigger Chinese ship blocked the Philippine ship and came dangerously close.
Dangerous maneuver yun ang tawag namin, no? Without due regard sa safety ng navigation, para lang hindi tayo makapasok sa ayungin. Ginagawa nila yan, yung pangharang na yan, no? Isa sa harassment na ginagawa ng China yan, na para hindi natin malapitan yung ayungin. Kinocross talaga nila, no? Yung ating bow, para yung ating plan route mablock niya.
To avoid a collision, the Philippine vessels left the area following the dangerous brush.
Mag-a-attempt sana ako, no, na pumasok sa ayungin. Bigla niyang nag-cross siya sa ating bow, no. Kaya kinross niya yung ating bow na actually tayo, almost ang distance na lang natin is nasa 40 to 50 yards na lang yun, no.
China has long demanded that a Philippine withdraw its small contingent of naval forces and tow away the now crumbling Navy ship, the BRP Sierra Madre. Filipino forces deliberately marooned the BRP Sierra Madre on the shoal in 1999. It now serves as a fragile symbol of Manila's territorial claim to the atoll. Agency Report, Republic TV.